and let's welcome three panelists today to discover a bit more about what you should call Jurassic Park. So let me meet my three dinosaurs for today. I'd love to invite Jérôme Perrani, who's VP Growth and Partnership at Groupe L'Express, one of the top French publishers. Please warm welcome, Jérôme. Have a seat, Jérôme. I also like to have Carsten Schwecker, who's the CDO, the Chief Digital Officer at Axel Springer. Ich glaube, das ist Axel Springer gut kennen. And last but not least, let's welcome Jan Hocking. Jan is head of programmatic, just joined from eBay to News Corp, to actually News International in London. Thank you so much. So I guess, gentlemen, you'll have to share mics. Here's one. As I said, welcome to Jurassic Park.
How flattering.
Yeah, sorry to be provocative, but I hope you're the youngest dinosaurs I've ever met, I must say. So let's talk about the pain first, and let me give you 2 or 3 figures just to give you a rough picture about what's going on between publishers and the duopoly of Facebook and Google. 10% of total US advertising is now done by newspaper. It used to come from 26%. And this is in the US. Google and Facebook will catch 85% of all digital advertising this year in the US, and 60% of all the digital spending. So you see Facebook Instant Articles, you see Google AMP, you see Apple News doing alluring reach in terms of audience. Do you see those trends coming into the European market? Let me maybe start with Jérôme very quickly. What's your take on this duopoly, and how does that impact your monetization and your revenue?
So L'Express is a weekly news magazine, and we launched digital initiatives 12 years ago. Right now we have 12 million unique visitors on the web, 0.5 million unique visitors on the app. And we are the business model based on advertising and subscription. If we look at only the figures regarding the website, today on the traditional desktop website, Google still remains the first digital channel with 40–45% of the total number of visits. Facebook is a minor player with roughly 5–8%. And do not forget the very old portals like MSN, Yahoo, because they are pretty big. Right now in the French market, they still remain a very good traffic generation engine for the traditional news online player. But on the mobile, everything has changed. Thanks to Google AMP, the Google...
Could you spell AMP for
the
audience? Google AMP?
Accelerated Mobile Pages. So we have been one of the first French players to jump into the Google Accelerated Mobile Pages initiative, announced by Google 2 years ago here in Berlin in November 2015. The total number of visits distributed by Google remains very high, but with a smaller percentage, 30–35, and the two of our players have come into this market. So Facebook and Apple News. I don't know in the German market, but in the French market, the usage of the -1 screen on iPhone is very big. So today on mobile we have 30–35% Google, 20% Facebook, and 20% of Apple News. And to share a figure, if you have one article that is displayed on the Apple News widget in France for 10 hours, the article will be read by 1 million people.
That's
so
huge.
It's very powerful.
That's huge. Thank you. Thank you. Carsten, you are representing the #1 German publisher. Which revenues have been declined because of the duopoly?
So actually, of course, we are also stagnating and even shrinking on the print side. On the digital side, we're still growing. And I mean, my point is here, I mean, the publisher industry should just stop whining, right? It's up to find us the right solutions. And there are several ones to take there, right? I mean, we are embracing, for instance, also Facebook stuff in our Volksprodukte, which is one of the big products from our build group. But also, I mean, we are not here and saying we are done. Not at all. We are very live and have the right solutions from my point of view there, at least. I think, just to give you an idea, Facebook in Germany, 35 million unique users. So this is an official study and the best for planning. Build alone as a brand, 39 million, right? So print, plus digital, plus all the other channels. So, I mean, we won't compete with those US guys on a global scale there on, let's say, scale and data granularity. But for us, we have, so to say, our golden triangle is trust, traffic, and tech.
But
and if we combine those together, then we are, at least here in the German market, a real competitor. And so stop whining, get your stuff together, and then there are solutions that our clients, at least right now, are very positive reacting on it.
But you've been suing Google.
Of course.
Yeah.
We have
So
a very intense, yeah. I mean, you know what? If you deal with Americans, they only understand one thing. You have to go in bold, right? Otherwise, there is no reaction at all. So that's the good
kind
thing.
of true.
The Leistungsschutzrecht, which
Yeah.
you are referring to, I mean, that's where...
Copyright infringement for the non-German
Yeah,
speakers.
that's really where the US guys say, well, oh, you guys at Springer, you're really tough. If you can create such a weird law just for your purposes, then you have really influence. And that is the reason why when Sheryl Sandberg comes to Berlin, she drops by with us. We are in constant talk there. From my point of view, Google right now is much better understanding the needs and necessities from publishers right now than it's Facebook. So it's a constant frenemy relationship, but we are embracing those guys very much.
Thank you, Carsten. Got it. Jan, 2 minutes on what's your take on the Google ending its first free click policy?
For us, it's really important that we get the opportunity to monetize our sites in the way that our users would like and in the way that gives us the best functionality and opportunity to monetize our sites. For anyone to come over and restrict those by policy is a bad thing. So them ending that is seen as very positive for us, especially as the Times of London is behind a paywall, and we want to be able to choose our policy.
Got it, got it. Let's talk about every single initiative you guys have been set up in your organization, since you have managing roles. And I'd like to come back to Carsten, especially with Google. I won't leave you with Google today. You left Google for ad serving. You went to Nexus. What's going on here? Is it just for the peace of mind, or is there any strategic vision behind that?
No, we do not want to be too much dependent on one of those guys. I mean, we have seen it with the different search mechanisms. I mean, we are also at Axel Springer a big owner of classifieds business, what that does to mean to other properties. If you see the changes right now happening at Facebook there, you just cannot be too dependent on one pillar there. And so it was a very strategic decision. We completely got them out of our ad tech value chain. So our biggest challenge for us as a publisher right now is to get the digital value chain back in place so that we do not have too much fragmentation in there, that no further arbitrage models are sitting on us, but it's once again us, for instance, with smart M&A, smart companies that we want to integrate to get our own targeting products better, right? So for instance, we acquired a company with which we can, the sole providers of a 5-digit postal code regional targeting, a special B2B targeting, a luxury targeting. So with these sorts of initiatives, we can be independent, because dependency on one of those three, you will be dead anyway.
Okay. Back to Nexus, and I'd like for the audience here, you to specify exactly what's the advantage that you are bringing to media buyers, to any advertisers using an AppNexus right now.
Yes. App Nexus allows us to have a full holistic view on our inventory. Holistic yield management is one of the key advantages. We have a very flexible environment. In the header we use pre-bid. We have API first with them, so which we can adapt to our own reportings and the client reporting, so that we can be very individual to clients' needs. And of course, we like for us and the client some sort of transparency. Transparency is not one of the strongest points from my point of view what Google is presenting there. So we like to be in the controller seat. So let's say it's not anymore for us in the edtech sphere like take it or leave it. It's just like we're all in right now.
Jan, would you like to add something on this one? And especially paywalls and potentially lead us to learn a bit more about the change you've brought into the organization, meaning the bridge, which is completely new within the News International organization.
News UK is completely new. Our business is in huge growth in all areas, whether it be print or digital. It may be true that in print, the year-on-year share is going down. The volume of money is going down, but our share is going up. Our ABC figures are going up. Our subscriptions to the Times, which has a hefty subscription of £32 per month on average, so that's 3 Netflix accounts just to read our newspaper, shows that news is not dead and that it is still growing because people want trusted source, want trust in the common opinion that we provide, and they value that significantly. But we don't just operate behind a paywall. We also have a big free-to-air titled The Sun, which reaches 30 million people every single month. And that enables us to have a very wide voice and learn a lot about the behaviors and intent of our customers to provide services to marketeers.
What do you specifically do to take back value and all back to the ecosystem and to this duopoly in terms of organizing your offering to the audience here?
Absolutely. So we take a lead from startups, actually. Now we operate a 3-month innovation cycle. We get together across the business and say, okay, you can now pitch anything that you would like to do, and it can be simply moving an ad placement from one position to another, or the acquisition of a completely new company. And everything has the same footing. And then we try and we see if we can create a business, something that is good for PR, something that is going to provide benefits for our users quickly, and then move on. And in that process, we will respect and take learnings from our contemporaries and our new competitors in the likes of Facebook, Google, and Amazon. For example, something really simple to learn is that Facebook and Google own all of their own tech. They don't outsource to people, they don't rent it from people, they build it themselves. So it all works together, and they own all of the tech tax that might have been lost through that process. They operate purely on a CPA or CPC functionality. We don't offer that right now, but we should totally look at how we could progress towards that. If we can take the functions that people would admire and like about it and build it into our own offerings, but also center it around the things that are most important and that our users most like about us, then we can compete.
Okay, great. Jerome, let's talk about bottom line and actually which initiatives really drove new revenues since you've been in place and in the digital and in the mobile world as well.
I will not answer your question. I will answer your previous question regarding organization, because these American players have forced us to change our news organization and the mindset of journalists. So we have the 2 heads of journalists, the 2 heads of the editorial staff are monitoring the whole day statistics of the performance of articles on Google News, on Facebook, on Apple News, So they have a real-time dashboard where they are monitoring, okay, what kind of sources are driving traffic to X or Y article. And we have also people that are dedicated to the distribution of articles on Facebook. So we are changing the images, we are changing the titles, we are changing the first sentence of the Facebook post. And we have also increased the number of people that are working on the video side. So our video team is distributing video contents on our website and mobile apps on YouTube. But we have decided last year to increase the reach of our brand of content to distribute all videos produced by the L'Express team on Facebook. And so we have today a 2 million fan base on Facebook that are viewing from 30 to 60 million video views per month. So it's good for the brand, it's good for the content, and it's good also for the learning to create new formats. And at the end of the day, we have been able, due to this long process, a 3-year process, to make a partnership with Snapchat. So L'Express is now one of the 15 French publishers that is an official partner of Snapchat in France, because we are putting a weekly story on Snapchat for the Snapchat audience, and the volume of audience and the volume of usage is very important. And so we have hired a motion designer. So we are creating new jobs and new way to tell story on this platform. So I totally agree with Carsten regarding the frenemies relationship we can have on the advertising business. But for as a distribution channels, they are open to discussion, and they launch new initiative, and every news organization should have a test and learn. So we, for example, we tested Facebook Instant Article for 2 months, and we stepped back because the monetization was not enough.
Any other experience about Facebook Instant Article you'd like to share?
We have grown the amount of articles that we publish to Instant Article tremendously. In fact, we have around 90% of what we publish, and we publish around 500 articles a day now into Facebook. We find that we can monetize those pages effectively, and it's not affecting the number of people that come to our platform right now. In fact, although we are growing tremendously with our titles, we have managed to reduce our reliance on Facebook traffic from 70 plus down to about mid-40s. So it's actually, so far, working out, but their policies can change, and it's constantly learning.
Okay.
So we embrace the culture of experimentations. For instance, with Build we are in, with Weld we are out. So, and what we see, it's on a standalone base, a fraction of the monetization that we generate by our own channels. So what we'll do is we just make bundles, smart intelligence bundles. For instance, if we do talk about sports sponsorings around the Build Bundesliga, we package a sponsored post together with a great display placements, together with YouTube pre-rolls, and then we generate a decent average eCPM price, which then is still interesting for us, even on those incremental challenges.
Good. This leads me to the next question, Carsten, especially addressed to you. Walled gardens. What do you guys do to fight walled gardens? It seems that German publishers are pretty prone on building alliances. You've been announcing many alliances. Are those alliances made for PR and the investors community, or is it really for getting into operations and making sure you can serve better your local markets?
Good question, and of course it's easy to say, oh my goodness, those political alliances, they will fail anyway. The good thing is, I mean, on all across the various industries, digital disruption is such a main topic that from my point of view, there is a brilliant window of opportunity right now to find together. And especially we as Axel Springer initiated one of those alliances. It's called VeryMe. It's an alliance around getting some sort of central general identifier that is compliant to the GDPR and privacy. because that's the big battlefield right now next to the Coalition for Better Ads, which we could cover anyway. But this is a cross-industry alliance where it's the aim to get some sort of easy login that you can use for your banking purposes, to get your subscription, to get your entry to Car2Go whatsoever, so that you have a very easy to use login, because the login is the only way that you can be assured of not getting punished too much when GDPR becomes reality.
How will this serve advertisers, media buyers?
Cross-device targeting
Okay.
is a big upside, and I think that's already a very relevant upside for advertisers anyway, right?
Definitely, thank you. Jan, Jérôme, three keywords I'd like you to get some positions on from you. Addressability, brand safety, transparency with price. Is it something you feel concerned and you try to build initiatives about?
I will answer by user experience. The overall, especially in France, I don't know what's the situation in Germany, but in France, if you go to a website from one of the major news organizations, you will find crazy ad unit formats everywhere. Sometimes one format is covering part of another format.
Christmas tree.
Yeah. So we have decided last year to remove intrusive formats. We are pushing that effort right now in order to decrease the advertising pressure and to enhance the user experience, because we are talking about walled garden, we are talking about US giant, but we are not talking about ad blocking. Ad blocking is a big issue on the desktop side of the business. Mm-hmm. If on mobile websites, on mobile apps, if publishers and advertising sales house are doing the same, are setting up the same nightmare regarding the ad user experience, we will face the same answer by the end user. Some guy will invent an ad blocking for mobile apps, for example. And we know that Google has sent in the US warnings to some US news websites because Google is monitoring the ad experience, and they are providing a Google ad experience report. So they can say to you, okay, you must change this, you must change that. And we must avoid a self-regulation set up by the ad blocking companies on one side and by other companies on the other side.
Yeah,
big topic, this browser supremacy, right? I mean, Google, we have, let's say, we are quite good informed, I would say, and especially what you are referring to, what will be relevant is that Google will ad filter this from next year onwards if you are not compliant to those programs. And once again there, we are about the central discussion about US dominance, right? Because what the IAB US decides cannot be the global standard for all business.
And
I think we got the message.
Yeah. Are you using the IAB.txt file?
Yeah, I mean, funny. I mean, really, we are very much also foreseeing these things coming. But still, I mean, this is a political battle that goes on, especially in the Coalition for Better Ads right now, right?
That's true.
That's why we said we need a European chapter for it. And let's see. So once again, Scott, the guy from Google, will come over to us at Springer. We'll have intense discussions.
Yeah, and very quick word, because we are in a hurry. Addressability, viewability. Is it something where you're jumping on every morning?
These things are very important to our partners and very important to us, but it's nothing as much as trust and transparency is. In the UK, the average viewability is 48%, but every advertiser wants 70% or more. They cannot, it's impossible to buy that. That means that if they're receiving that, then something is not right. That means there is some mistrust, something has happened. We have declared margins and positions for transparency, and any piece of tech that we can build in to help our clients build in that trust, whether it be ads.txt or working with Moat and integral ad science, so that it's there. But it's still difficult for people to buy and have integrity and trust through us. So what's most important to me and the way that we work is finding ways to help those people that are truly interested in getting great ROI, reaching real people, to find the best way to buy our inventory and build relationships that really work.
Okay, thank you. It seems to be very clear. Quick questions to end up and have a look to the future. Blockchain is in everybody's mouth now, pretty much everywhere, even in our mouth. Kochava announced today the very first blockchain-based digital advertising platform to secure in an open source way any I/O and any transmission of information when it comes to transparency in terms of executing your media plans. What do you think in terms of blockchain? Will it definitely disrupt media buying? Is it just interesting to monitor, or is it something which would hardly make no difference?
I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that it'll be slow, fast. I think there's a lot of learning to be done. The work that is happening and the trust that is building in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is providing a foundation for trust for the platform. And businesses like News are looking at how decentralizing our platform, building on blockchain, could be a huge innovation for us, but it's not guaranteed.
Okay, Jérôme, any point of view?
I have a confession. I'm still trying to understand the Wikipedia page regarding blockchain, so I will not answer your question.
Let's talk aside.
Yeah, and for I'm less intelligent than Matthias, so I'm also waiting for the cases to come. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. It was a pleasure. Big applause.